let's get into this card, though, for the fans that want to hear
our thoughts on what stood out.
Yeah, and exactly. If you weren't able to see Money in the Bank tonight, you guys want to know what made this pay-per-view so great. We're sitting here tooting its horn. You're like, what's going on? Yeah, what's the meat and bones?
So, the meat and bones of this match tonight was we saw Sheamus and Sin Cara on the apron.
Yep, we're going to start the card right off from the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match.
We see Sheamus on the apron. They basically had one of the Jeff Hardy, 30-foot ladders going from the apron to the Spanish announce table. I don't know if it was a powerbomb or if it was a modified powerbomb because of the distance, the short distance between them and the ladder. But basically, we see Sheamus just powerbomb drive Sin Cara through the ladder.
That was almost like he was doing the high cross.
Yeah, it was kind of like he was doing the high cross, but it was more like a powerbomb type. Yeah. Just because, like I said, I think it was because of the distance between him and the ladder. I don't think it was
and I mean, this ladder just folded right up. Yeah. Sin Cara had to be carted right out of the arena. And a similar situation happened in the later Money in the Bank ladder match.
Exactly. Sheamus, again, with Daniel Bryan on his shoulders. We see the Big Red Machine take it to the sky, being in Chicago, Illinois. Hits the Doomsday device, and you hear the fans just go crazy chanting LOD, LOD. There's so many spots in this match. I'll let Bryan take out what's.
Oh my God! Some of these spots were incredible. We end up seeing in succession each of the 8 superstars. One is each outside of the ring, and one by one they take each other out with aerial maneuvers. Incredible. There was also another great spot. We see 2 superstars battling at the top of the ladder. Wade Barrett's smart as hell. He goes running up the other side of the ladder, reaches over him, is trying to get the briefcase.
Yeah.
I mean, just the spots in this match tonight. Cody Rhodes. For a minute there, it looked like Cody Rhodes was going to gain control. Hits 2 amazing crossroads.
Yeah.
You know, Barrett's hitting wasteland after wasteland. Kane is choke slamming after choke slamming. Sheamus, my God, I me's this guy's been more on fire than the last whole 6 months of his run.
We see Kofi Kingston and Rey Mysterio jump outside onto A-Rai, Miz, R-Truth, and then we turn around and we see Evan Bourne.
Miz and R-Truth?
Oh, it's
Evan Bourne.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just so hyped up from this card tonight. It was just astounding.
Oh, it was phenomenal, guys.
We see Daniel Bryan get hit with a net breaker by Heath Slater off the top of the ladder. We see Daniel Bryan pick up the Money in the Bank and Matt, the briefcase, and just the fact is that you saw the emotions pouring out of his face. Like, I am now one step closer to being World Heavyweight Champion. And now we know that whenever he deems necessary to cash it in, he might cash it in on Christian, he might not. Well, only time can tell. We don't have this information. We'll have to see how. I'm definitely going to be tuning in to SmackDown every week.
But you know what kind of integrity Daniel Bryan has, though? Is that he didn't go out and just cash it in on the weekend Christian after he had 2 RKOs on the table.
I think he's going to set the tone for fellow Money in the Bankers, because everyone who has one Money in the Bank. I think this might be the first time that they might actually even maybe set up a match. Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to, take the low road like everybody else has done. I know it's the perk of the case, but it'd be nice to see something different this time. Yes. Funny enough, actually, I watched a video earlier today, Spinner at 1. Basically said the same thing. Wouldn't it be nice if one of the Money in the Bank winners made it into a match instead of just a random prey occurrence? And you know what, Spinner? I kind of agree with you on that.
Maybe have a match and then have Daniel Bryan lose, and then just be like, all right, I want to cash in my Money in the Bank, and then have him beat the champion right after the next one.
It could be, or it could be.
There's no advantage being taken.
Hey, the advantage is that he's gone from being here to now he's up here.
Yes.
And he
should have been last year.
He has a huge advantage tonight, and hats off to Daniel Bryan, the SmackDown Money in the Bank winner.
Divas match. I mean, there really wasn't a lot there.
These women did raise the bar tonight, though.
Yes, they did.
For WWE Divas competition.
Yeah.
They raised the bar. We saw a lot of great moves out of both these. I think the Bellas bring the best out of Kelly and Eve. I think they're all working great together. We're not going to really dwell on too much. It was a fantastic match for what it was. Then we go into Show Henry. The brutality was there. The crowd interest was sort of there.
I actually thought going into this match that it was just going to be a filler, but my eyes were opened, and you know, I mean, because you know,
for two big guys,
when you get two big guys going at each other, you think it's either going to be A, filler, or B, it's going to be a snooze fest. And it wasn't that. It was actually pretty interesting. You know, we stated how the match unfolded as earlier when we were running through the card. We're not going to really dwell on this because we still got Money in the Bank, the World Heavyweight Championship, and the Cena match, which I got a lot of stuff.
But the biggest things about this match, I think we have to stand out, is, you know, these competitors went back and forth. It looked close for show. It looked close for Henry. It looked close for show. Kept going back and forth. But Mark Henry put him down with 2 World's Strongest Slams and 2 huge splashes. So, I mean, it just wasn't a pushover finish. No. I mean, I kind of would have liked to see just a little bit more before we got to this point. But after that, like JC said, we saw that huge Vader Bomb type maneuver off the ropes onto the steel chair, which was placed on Show's legs. So Show was taken out of the picture, I assume, for quite some time. Then we move into the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match.
I mean, this match was such crazy. I mean, we saw, like Bryan was talking about, we see R-Truth start off going towards the entryway. He jumps over the top rope, does a flipping suicide dive over the top. Then we see...
Oh, what?
Yeah. Then we see... we see Kofi and Ray, you know, followed by guys like Daniel Bryan, Sin Cara. God damn it. Sorry, guys. Like I said, this match is just so amped up.
He's so hyped.
I'm just going to read what I have here, you know, without having to look at the camera. It just makes it easier for me.
This is a prepared statement by JC Styles.
Kofi and Ray dived onto Miz, A-Rai, Swagger. Evan Bourne off the top of the ladder in the entryway came down with airborne on Miz, A-Rai, Ray, and Kofi. Ray hits a sunset powerbomb on the Miz. Alberto Del Rio and Ray battle at the top of the ladder. This is where, like I said, it's controversial. They're battling it. Ray had it in his hands. He was hitting Del Rio in the face with the briefcase. And then right when Ray went to go hit him again, Del Rio just reached for the Velcro and pulled the mask off. Ray covered his face. As you guys know, me and Bryan were disputing it. I think it's a shady victory, even though it's a victory nonetheless, because the fact is that as a former masked wrestler that Alberto Del Rio was, he should know the heritage. Even though that Ray did take the mask off in WCW and put it back on prior to him joining the WWE, still, as another masked wrestler, you know how much the mask means to a family, and I think it was a disrespect slap in the face to the Mysterio.
I think at the end of the day, it was probably, you know, if you look past the, you know, kayfabe, it was probably a work finish that Rey Mysterio agreed to. You know, that's why, you know, he was very eager to make sure he was covered. But, you know, in a way, I could see it as a sign of disrespect. In another way, this is a match with no rules. You win by any means necessary. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But I think JC covered most of the spots. If he didn't cover any, I think I covered them earlier in this video. Yes. We'll go right into the World Heavyweight Championship match, Christian versus Randy Orton. We saw a lot of great moves out of both these competitors. This match was a little bit slower compared to the other ones on the card. Doesn't mean it was a bad match.
No, it was not at all.
It was a very solid wrestling match.
I just think the crowd wasn't there because of the Money in the Bank matches.
And they were waiting for CM Punk.
They were chanting CM Punk the whole night.
And I mean, when he came out, I haven't heard a crowd like that in years.
Well, we'll get into that right after.
Yeah.
You know, we saw a very fantastic showing between Christian and Orton. You know, we saw the video package, and Orton says, we see Christian say, "I can beat Orton," but nobody wants to believe me. But now we're going to see people kind of basically bash Christian because of the way he won. But the thing is, though, Orton should have kept his cool, and he was the one that got himself disqualified.
Well, that's why Christian made sure these stipulations were set up, because he knew that Randy Orton would get himself disqualified, because Randy Orton has a history of doing that. It's not that I dislike Randy Orton. It's not like I'm the biggest Christian mark now. But I've always thought Christian was solid. I've always thought Randy Orton was solid. But going into this match, this is what Christian saw, and he made sure he protected his ass. And by him protecting his ass, he is now the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Then we move into the WWE Championship match, which was match of the night, match of the year. I mean, you can't really say much about it because, you know, we're not used to seeing Cena in these type of grueling matches. I mean, Cena is used to wrestling a 10 to 15 minute match tops.
These guys went over a half an hour tonight.
These guys went a half an hour. They said over 30 minutes of wrestling in this match. I mean, we saw, you know, I'll just run through what we saw. We saw the chants, CM Punk came out. You couldn't even hear one boo from the John Cena fans. That's how deafening the CM Punk, the Straight Edge Society tonight was.
The only pop that John Cena got was when he took off his T-shirt and all the girls in the front row wanted it. That was the only ovation John Cena got tonight here in Chicago. Well, not here. We're here in Middletown, Connecticut.
They're in Chicago.
They're in Chicago.
We see, you know, these guys, they brought out the best in each other, like Bryan said earlier in the video. And, I mean, we saw moves like the abdominal stretch, side slams, moves that Cena doesn't normally do on a weekly basis. I think that he took what Chavo said and what CM Punk has said over the last couple weeks, and even just The Rock, and took what he said to what they said to Hart and stepped his game up tonight.
Well, something I really got to throw in here real quick, not going to dwell on it all, but I think, you know, this whole thing, I think TNA, not just TNA, but a lot of wrestling fans in general, lighting the fire under Vince's ass, saying, you know, is your company really mattering about wrestling these days? Even though, you know, you are the heritage of major North American wrestling right now, you're all that's left of the former, you know, I mean, one of the former NWA territories. I mean, it's evolved into this. I mean, it's incredible. And he's really lit a fire. He's really just doing incredible. Hats off to McMahon. And I knew he would be there tonight, and he did show up.
I mean, we saw exchanges of AAs, GTSs, STFs. We even seen CM Punk locking the Anaconda Vice. I actually tweeted CM Punk and asked him if he can hit the Pepsi Plunge, which I actually thought he was going to do, but he did a Hurricanrana instead. We see at basically the last like 5 minutes, basically like the last 2 to 3 minutes of the match, we see Vince McMahon come walking out, and John Laurinaitis, is that how you pronounce his name?
John Laurinaitis, that is Road Warrior Animal's brother. He is the Vice President of Talent Relations, and he used to wrestle under the name Johnny Ace. And believe it or not, the Ace Crusher is...
What do you think of that? Basically what happened was, as soon as John Cena locked in
the Ace Crusher is a major move that's been used for years, but
the STF, and as soon as he locked it in, Cena was going for Punk's leg, and you already saw Vince pointing to Laurinaitis, go ring the bell, and he grabbed him by the arm and pulled him to the ring. And then as he was coming out, John Cena broke the hold, ran out and clocked Laurinaitis, and he said, and walked over to Vince, he says, you let this man win the match on his own, you do not screw him.
We almost saw the Chicago screw job.
Yeah, we almost saw the Chicago screw job. And then we see basically Cena takes his eye off the ball for just a couple of seconds, gets back into the ring, walks into a GTS 3 count, bam, CM Punk is the WWE champion. Then we see CM Punk, you know, Vince be basically pissed off.
He grabs the microphone, says, Alberto, get down here now. We saw Alberto haul ass to the ring. Alberto tries to get into the ring. Like JC said earlier, hits him with that huge move, lays him out. CM Punk flees through the crowd with the WWE Championship and basically kisses the WWE goodbye. So we're going to have to see how this situation evolves. Once we have more information, we will either bring you a news update or we'll include it with Monday Night Raw tomorrow night.
That's if Punk even shows up to Monday Night Raw tomorrow. Well, he might be scheduled to show up, but he might take the title and run.
Yeah.
Because he think Vince might try to screw him.
We're going to have to see what happens.
But then again, they are in Chicago again tomorrow, so who knows?
We're going to have to see what happens.
But guys,
I think if Vince really didn't want him to get out of that building with his title, he was, I mean, he might have made it through the crowd. Yeah. But he still had the rest of the arena to get through.
Yeah. So pretty much, guys, this has been our review.
Yeah, it sure has been.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully those of you sat through the whole thing.
Hopefully we're a little more concise, a little more to the point tonight. We want to try to make sure we pack in as much information as we possibly can.
In a smaller time frame.
Exactly, because we know you guys, you know, it's hard to watch 2 hours of wrestling than watch a half an hour review. And we might not be the only shooter that you enjoy. We hope that we are your #1 source for information on the net, and if we're not bringing you some information that you guys require and you're finding at other shooters, please let us know, and we will strive to bring that to you.
So for plugs of the night, we will, again, members of the Wrestling Revolution, WrestlingRevolution.com. Please check out the members of the Revolution. Most Extreme Wrestling, Crystal and Chronic, Friday, celebrated their 2-year wedding anniversary.
Hats off to them.
The F and True Click, please check that out. And even F and True Entertainment.
Yes. Please also check out
RS Eagles.
RS Eagles. He's started making reviews. Pretty cool kid. Check him out. And We Are Pro Wrestling. He has a great contest going on right now. Subscribe to his channel, check out the contest, and also check out his top 15 videos. He's got a nice series that he's working with. And you know, guys, that's about it for right now. So for F and True Wrestling,
I'm JC Styles.
I'm Bryan Crazy.
And we'll see you back tomorrow night with Monday Night Raw. And hopefully, if my package comes in, I will be representing TNA Shop or Shop TNA unboxing. So stay tuned for that. For F and True Wrestling, have a good night and enjoy your Monday.
Catch you later.